Okay, so Godzilla's been evolving more and more in recent movies, and it's really exciting because he unlocks new forms which give him like new powers, abilities, and that kind of stuff. It's all pretty fun. So now it's time to check out his newest evolutionary form because that new movie is on the way.
Titanus Godzilla.
This is exciting.
Ancient beast millions of years old. We've seen it tank nuclear weapons and take down hordes of titanic beasts that dare stand before him. We've only learned more about him throughout the series, watching him grow, shift and change as he evolves to combat new, greater challenges. And his latest form rose out of an Arctic glacier in Godzilla x Kong: The New Empire, where he grew even larger, heavier, musclier, with longer arms and new, more deadly weapons, all to take on the red-haired menace, the Scar King, and his primordial pet, Shimo, the first Titan.
In all fairness, I wouldn't really call Scar King a redhead because he's bald on his head. He's red everywhere else, though.
But also to prepare for what's coming in the next film. He was stronger and more agile than ever before, being able to perform maneuvers at speeds he couldn't do in his previous form.
That was
amazing.
amazing.
And with his magenta spiral ray, it's safe to say that this is the most powerful King of the Monsters has ever been in the Monsterverse, to the point Scar King was humiliated after spending thousands of years dreaming about taking over the surface. Poor Scar King. I mean, obviously not. He got what was coming to him. But what comes next? As Godzilla is an ever-changing creature, what will his next form be? Well, today we're going to explore the hypothetical next step in Godzilla's evolution. Using Beastopia tech, we'll be animating the structural changes in Godzilla's body to predict how he'll look in the upcoming Monsterverse film and millions of years in the future. How will he become even more powerful? Let's find out.
Dude, Dangerville is freaking awesome. I just gotta say, I hope the next form is like red. I don't know. I feel like red's pretty gangster. I just don't think there's another color to go to from there. Maybe back to blue, but like green, yellow, like it's just gotta be red or back to blue. Or pink. It could just stay pink, I suppose.
First,
Pink looks
let's take
good.
a look at how the physique has changed throughout the years. In 2014, he was more subtly muscular, looking almost pudgy in a hippopotamus kind of way,
What?
where the muscle was beneath the layers of blubber. This gave him a more natural appearance following his many years of hibernation. But once he woke up, he started to slim down. The muscles and chest became more pronounced, with thick shoulders and toned neck muscles, making his head look tiny in comparison.
What a
his feet
beefcake.
proportions became more exaggerated, with sharper claws that can be used in combat.
I always forget they changed the feet a lot between 2014 and 2019. I literally never noticed it in the movies because I'd never look at his feet really, but my god, is that an active topic in the community.
His dorsal plates cracked following a fight with the Muto Prime, giving him the more curved, regrown plates we saw in King of the Monsters and Godzilla vs. Kong. And this is how he stayed right up to the midpoint of the New Empire, where following a battle with Tiamat, absorbing some of her DNA and absorbing an entire French nuclear reactor, went into a brief hibernation to evolve into his next form.
Those
And
silly
what came
French.
out was an absolute beast. Side by side, we can see the immediate differences. More hunched over, larger arms, sharper claws, and larger, more fresh, crystal-like dorsal plates. Nothing could put a stop to the new King of the Monsters, better than ever before. So, taking a look at this, we can get a pretty good idea on how he's going to change even further.
He looks so
before we show you
humany.
his changes, give this video a Godzilla-sized like and subscribe for your #1 source for Godzilla content.
Absolutely. Dangerville is freaking awesome. Everyone should be subscribed to them, of course.
Join us. Become a
Me too.
resident today. First things first, let's make Godzilla even larger, still growing from that surge of radiation. Thanks to the designer of Godzilla Evolved, Jared Krzyzewski, we have confirmation that he's only this skinny due to using up his fat reserves during the strenuous evolution process.
I've been following that dude on Instagram, Krzyzewski, Jared Krzyzewski. I've already forgot how to say it. I was gonna say, they just taught me how to say it and I instantly forgot it.
We can go ahead and add back more of that chunk that we love so much. Next up, the thing that remained consistent in each one of these new evolutions are the increase in arm size and overall muscle growth. So let's make him bulkier and make the arms even more bear-like. With
No
more
way.
articulated
Bigger
claws,
arms?
capable of slashing and gripping onto prey.
Look at those monsters, dude. Those are some crazy arms they just gave him. He's got like Kong strength arms now.
And speaking about
Wow.
weapons, his newly grown Thagomizer and elbow spikes will become even more pronounced, allowing him to utilize them in battle, so will double the size of these deadly defenses.
That's
But
insane.
with the additional size and muscle mass, that means he's going to have to sustain that weight. We've already seen that he's more hunched over, so due to the additional load, he may be even more hunched over, looking down on the lower titans like a hulking beast.
Damn.
And one of his biggest changes between forms was his new dorsal plates that are beginning to take an almost downward point. This adaptation will be so he can more effectively swim in the water, with the fins acting as a kind of rudder similar to sharks. So we can safely assume that as they grow larger, they'll curve even more down to allow Godzilla to swim even more efficiently with his additional size.
That's insane. I think I remember reading in one of the comics he used like the walls of one of his ancient homes to like sand down or file down his dorsal plates to keep them from getting too big. Without his ancient tunnels anymore, he's just gonna get spiky forever.
And I've seen a lot of speculation about his energy color output changing. Some have wished it would change back to blue, some have said white, which I personally love the look of,
Oh, I don't even consider that. Look how crazy that looks. I think it looked too similar to Shimo though.
and some have even said green. But we'll leave it as magenta right now, since this color is the most powerful energy on the electromagnetic spectrum, symbolizing that this is the most powerful Godzilla can ever get. This leaves us with a familiar, but even more terrifying Godzilla, even larger and more powerful than before.
I think we would need more exaggerated changes than this because they gotta sell new figures for every movie that comes out, which I pretty much love because I love collecting the figures anyways, but you're gonna need more distinct differences than just slightly bigger spikes than the previous one. I don't know what they could change specifically about this guy, but there'd be something they'd have to change enough for it to be worth buying a whole new figure.
With longer, more efficient arms, a more muscular build, and more capable physique.
I've got it! Atomic dorsal knuckle spikes. No, that's silly.
Nothing could stop the new King of the Monsters. That is, unless something designed specifically for killing Godzilla were to come along. So,
Like
Godzilla is
Mechagodzilla?
likely going to change again if the designer of Goji Evo has anything to say about it. And from the looks of it, it's going to please a lot of fans. But let's keep going.
Like
what
sexually?
could this Godzilla look like in the future if he were to just keep evolving? Let's take a look at what we know about his development and increase it by 100%. What might Godzilla look like in a couple million years?
Oh, I wouldn't even be alive for that. Damn, that's insane.
By following the progression, we can see Godzilla will be far more hunched over,
Do you think in a couple of million years Godzilla will remember us?
potentially using his arms to walk significantly more often in order to support his weight, in a similar way to Shimo in the New Empire, who is so big she walks on all fours. He's bulkier, and with that, he's much slower, but no less of a threat, capable of absorbing a wider amount of radiation than ever before. Based on the bones in Kong's throne room, we can see Godzilla's likely grew large tusks when they reach this level of mass, charging at opponents and biting down with their sharp incisors. And after millions of years of evolution, he's grown a full Stegosaurus-like Thagomizer, efficient for intense combat against an array of gigantic titans. What we're left with is a very different beast, but no less of an alpha titan. If the Mutos thought they could challenge Godzilla in 2014, they certainly wouldn't even attempt to fight him now.
But imagine what a Prime would evolve into in a couple million years. You know what I mean?
Being a greater threat than ever before, the true Apex Titan.
That is pretty incredible. I'd like to think you'd undergo even more differences, but it's already such a perfect design, adding anything
But
would just
this
like
is
ruin
only
it.
speculative. Godzilla's species have been proven to be dimorphic, with some even having wings. So Godzilla could evolve in many different ways.
But didn't Toho make all this not canon anymore because they insist there's only one Godzilla in the franchise? So the flying Godzilla, every Godzilla bone fossil we've seen in Kong's Skull Room, anywhere that we've seen anywhere is now like not canon and everything's nonsense because Toho just is Toho.
Only time will tell where our King of the Monsters goes next and what kinds of threats he'll need to adapt to. With the novelization of GXK stating that humanity is pushing for a full takeover of the Hollow Earth, how will Godzilla evolve again to fight them? What weaponry will they come with to wipe out the Titans from the face of the Earth? More mechs, or possibly even bio-titans of their own? Only time will tell. But we'll be covering it all here at Dangerville when we hear
a pink
about
subscribe button.
So subscribe and stomp the notification button to become a resident of Dangerville today. And leave a comment about how you think Godzilla will evolve in the future. I've been Alistair, and we'll see you residents in the next one.
Man, I say it every time, but I freaking love Dangerville outros. Retro colors, like retro pink stuff, nevertheless, is like my favorite thing in the world. It's like over simulating, really. I gotta pause it to think. It's tough, because like obviously Godzilla evolving is very exciting, but the design changing is so permanent, and then you lose the previous one. I still do kind of miss like old school 2014 Godzilla. I love evolved Godzilla also, but they were both just so great in their own ways. But they will most likely want to sell figures for a new Godzilla, so I don't know. There's gonna be something. Like there usually is something, which I'm again okay with. I know consumerism sucks and all that, but it's like Godzilla figures. I don't know. Let's save consumerism complaints for like those idiots mass buying Stanley Cups. Either way, it's a very interesting concept. Absolutely. Leave a like on the video, subscribe to Dangerville, obviously, for your up-to-date Godzilla news, and I'll see you next time.